We've mentioned Jimmy Garoppolo a time or two in talking about the 49ers quarterback position. How could you not? If you're going to look at the 49ers of the past several years, he's now with the Raiders. Ian Rappaport of NFL Media reported yesterday that Garoppolo is expected to be ready long before training camp, barring any issues with his foot. I mean, yes, he's going to be ready unless the thing that would keep him from being ready keeps him from being ready. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, it's a little bit like...
I don't know what that means.
Captain...
But yeah, he'll be ready unless he isn't.
They're just trying to calm things down after last week. That's what that sounds like, right? Again, that's a weird situation out there. I don't get that. And it obviously caught the Raiders by surprise that Jimmy Garoppolo's foot was still an issue. Especially with all the talk that, he might come back for the Super Bowl. And then, they're thinking, okay, well, he must be good to go. And, then delay the press conference like you talked about. That is definitely a weird event. And it seems like he and Don Yee kind of pulled a fast one on the Raiders to a degree. And hopefully he is healthy for their sake.
That's 3D chess if Don Yee was thinking all along in December and January to get this out there that he's good to go, he's close to being ready. That minimizes the extent of the interrogation when you're doing that. Here we go. Negotiating period's open. We got to find a quarterback. Oh, you say Jimmy G's fine? Okay, let's go. $11.25 million signing bonus until he fails the physical, and they take it away, and they put it in salary that he's not going to get unless he passes the physical. So, look, even if he passes the physical and he's back, here's the reality with Jimmy G. We got the graphic. If I talk long enough, it's going to come up because we didn't expect it to be up today, I assume. All the injuries. There it is. Maybe they didn't expect it to come up. Look at that. All the injuries at the most protected position in football, other than kicker and punter. He still can't avoid getting injured. The only year that doesn't have an injury was 2019, the year that they almost won the Super Bowl.
Right.
So you've got to stay healthy. I mentioned this when I wrote it up last night. Tom Brady, he made it to 45 in part because he avoided taking hits. He got to that chuck and duck period of his career where I'd rather throw the ball up and have it intercepted 3 times in the NFC Championship by the Packers and still somehow win the game than take a big hit. Because you take a big hit, you may be gone for a while.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. And that's where this whole, run through a brick wall mentality needs to be tempered by the fact that there's one guy on the team we don't want running through a brick wall. And we don't want the brick walls running through him.
Yeah.
Get rid of the ball. Look at how he hurt his foot. He was holding on to the ball when he shouldn't have been. He's trying to run with it, and 2 Dolphins bring him down, and along the way, he sprains his foot.
Yeah.
Don't take hits. If you're an NFL quarterback, it's simple. The fewer hits you take, the fewer chances that one of those hits is going to be the one that causes something to break or to sprain or to tear. And then you're going to be gone for weeks or months or the season because of something that if you just thrown it away, it wouldn't have been an issue.
Yeah. Well, I think that's, what you're saying, Mike, I think is why Jimmy Garoppolo and that type of quarterback's a dying breed in the NFL. It's a dying breed, right? First off, it's a little bit of a gift and the curse, and he is tough, and he'll hang in the pocket and throw and take hits. But to your point, there's a fine line there where you start to go, that's aggressive and tough, and no, this is just stupid, and you're taking abuse. But to the other thing you're talking about, for 2023, he is a far below average athlete for the position. And that's where I think, you're seeing the league change away from that. Even the pocket passing quarterback we see drafted now is a threat to run and escape the pocket, right? Joe Burrow is one of the best pocket passing quarterbacks in the NFL, right? We call him a slippery son of a bitch like 75 times a year, the way he moves around and dodges and bobs and weaves and gets outside of the pocket, right? I mean, he's one of those type of guys. And sorry for my language, London. I'm just having some fun here. But, that's
and
where
everybody else.
Yeah, and everybody else. Sorry. But yes, Jimmy Garoppolo, I think that's where it is a little scary, and that's where it's the rubber has met the road a little bit on him and as a player that way.
And it all comes down to, and look, I don't want to call the guy dumb, but I will say he does dumb things. And dumb is as dumb does. And that's why the Panthers are comfortable with Bryce Young. They're confident that he's smart enough to get rid of the ball and not take the kind of hit. Now, for him, he falls into the Tua category where, You're going to get hit, you're going to get thrown to the ground, and your head's going to snap back, your helmet's going to strike the turf, and you're going to potentially be concussed. Tua is in the same category as Jimmy Garoppolo, where I don't know whether it's you're trying to be a hero, you don't have proper awareness of when to get rid of the football.
Right.
It's kind of like we were talking about Daniel Jones yesterday. Remember, his flaw used to be he'd hold on to the ball too long.
Right.
And it would get knocked out of his hands. Yep. He's grown in that regard.
Definitely.
You need to grow to the point where, and this is part of the game slowing down, where you understand, I better get rid of it now or I'm going to take that hit. I better run out of bounds instead of cutting it back inside. It's having the ability to think while you're out in the middle of all that stuff that's happening. Some guys have it, some guys don't. And you have to either learn it or you're going to have a graphic like the Jimmy Garoppolo injury history graphic. And that's the question. Just like with Kirk Cousins, you get to a point where you just are who you are. And 10 years into the NFL, Chris, I got a feeling Jimmy G is who he is, and he's going to be the guy he's always been. I don't know that Josh McDaniels can coach it out of him because the first injury on that graphic happened when McDaniels was his offensive coordinator.
Yeah, no, you bring up a lot of good points. I think what you're saying is real. I will say I think this offense fits him better than the 49ers. I think he'll be more comfortable there. And, the fact that it's, maybe a little more traditional in the standpoint of, you guys know the 49ers offense. It's, fake to this guy, hey, and I'm standing in a mosh pit and people around me and we want to throw it right down the middle to Debo. And, it almost looks like controlled chaos at times, where McDaniel's offense is going to be a little bit more the traditional, hey, we're in the shotgun, you're going to go through reads. And I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be more comfortable in that rather than the play action. We need you to get up, maybe avoid a little pass rush and throw a rifle down the middle of the field 15, 20 yards into a tight window. And I think that's where he could get not only into meathead Jimmy G, I'm going to stand there and take too big of a hit, but also meathead, I'm just going to fit this in there. And you go, what? You're way too good of a player to make a throw like that. How the hell could you do that? And that's what happens to him. And I think that's where McDaniels can maybe fix Jimmy G a little bit.
I think the main thing is to fix him in a way that you don't have to literally fix him.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't have to repair him.
Right.
That's the key.
Yep.
And even with Jimmy G playing every game this year, it's going to be an uphill climb for the Las Vegas Raiders, but it's going to be a dramatic downhill slide if they have to rely upon Brian Hoyer or Aiden O'Connell, or if they have to get Tom Brady from the ownership suite down onto the field, which I know he's said he's certain he's not coming back, and I'm certain he's not certain about anything until football season rolls around. Nobody knows, including him, what's ultimately going to happen. We haven't mentioned Brady in a few days. So
thank you.
Boom,
I've been
and
missing
off we
it.
go.
Thank you.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.